Hi. So I've had the Google Pixel Slate here for a couple of days. I've been using it full-time. I used it full-time at work. I used all my apps. I've developed some opinions, and I thought I'd share them with you. Starting off, this is a $1,200 device with the keyboard cover. The tablet itself is the i5 128 gig. The keyboard cover is a $200 accessory. I did not buy the pen. I know the Android and Chrome OS app ecosystem well enough that I know that pen support is not really of value to me, so I didn't buy the pen. However, I have used USBC docking stations, I've used USBC dongles, I've used USBC headphones. I couldn't find, outside of one third-party card adapter, a device that wouldn't work on this tablet with USB-C port. One of the really cool things is the day after I got this, I brought it into work. My normal docking station is a Dell USB-C docking station. I took the tablet out, I put it in this mode, put it on my laptop stand, plugged in the docking station, and it found every device in the docking station. It found my USB-C mouse and keyboard, it found my USB headset, it found the Ethernet adapter. Everything just worked. And that was spectacular. It was completely unexpected. Really, really nice to see USB-C in here. That is not something I can say about the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro had problems with a ton of things, particularly mouse support. So it doesn't really work on a desktop in a corporate environment. This, however, it did work. It worked with everything on the docking station. I used USB-C adapters to cameras, worked fine. USB-C adapters to SD cards, everything was great. Now, let's show a couple of the settings we've got here. So right now it's in desktop mode. So you can see that the keyboard is open. It's got a start menu, or not start menu, but an expandable menu to give you your apps. In tablet mode, so when disconnected from the device, you go into more of like the tablet interface that you would see in almost anywhere. There's no desktop per se. It's just a list of your applications. As soon as you plug it into the pogo pins for the keyboard case, it goes into a desktop mode. Now, Chrome OS. There are some issues with Chrome OS. It is a very limited operating system, and Google has done that intentionally to try to make it a low-price operating system for low-priced Chromebooks. On a high-priced tablet like this, there's some major flaws. The addition of Android app support to Chrome OS has revitalized it. It's added a lot of additional app functionality you just don't have in normal Chrome OS unless you're going through a Chrome browser. In the case of the Pixel Slate, and I'll give you an example here, there are some applications that just boggle my mind as to why they don't work. So you'll see that I have up here in the upper left-hand corner, I've got the YouTube TV Android app. Now this is a Google device. YouTube TV is a Google service. This is a Google app. When I open it on the Pixel Slate, I get that this is an unsupported device as an error. That should never happen. This is entirely within the Google ecosystem. There's no reason, in my mind, that the Android TV or the YouTube TV Android app should not be supported on a Google device. And instead, you end up having to use the browser-based version of YouTube TV. And that would be fine, except for the fact that it took off horizontal scrolling. It doesn't work within the Chrome browser. So this is a limited experience. Now, and see, there's the other problem. I did discover that over here, there is occasionally, I didn't want to do that, a arrow that pops up. There it is. That's not what I wanted. There's an arrow that pops up that allows you to navigate horizontally. It doesn't show up all the time, as it isn't right now. Therefore, I can't get to what I need to get to. That is emblematic of the issues I've had with this device. This device is very well built, minus the keyboard cover. The tablet itself is incredibly well built. It's got the ports that I want on a tablet. It's got the screen size I want in a tablet. It's got a beautiful display, excellent stereo speakers, a reasonable webcam, but that's more about app support. Zoom video conferencing really doesn't work on this device. The camera often doesn't get detected, and it only shows a portrait video for some reason, even when it's in landscape mode. But I've found that this is desperate for an operating system that can really take advantage of its performance. This is an i5 CPU. It's a ultra low voltage fanless configuration, so it's not the most powerful i5 in the world. It's not a quad core or anything, but it is more powerful than you expect. The storage is slow. Those reports have been accurate, but it's got enough memory to do what I need to do on a daily basis. You know, send email, browse websites, instant message. That's my daily workflow. I can do everything I need to on this. The challenge is that when I take it out of being a laptop replacement and I start using it or attempting to use it as a tablet or as a competitor to the iPad Pro, I consistently find that it doesn't have the operating system functionality that I want. So let's talk about the keyboard case. So the keyboard case, as you know, is a very thin keyboard case. Now, this one has some functionality that is unique. It has a multi-angle stand. I can put it in a very vertical position, and it's all magnetically attached to the back. When I go to the top, it gives a sort of a hard stop, or a extra set of magnets that kind of give you a hard stop at the most reclined. It doesn't really have that for the, oh yeah, it does have that for the most vertical. But it's reasonably reliable. I mean, it's actually very sturdy. When I have it in a very vertical format and I'm pushing on the screen, there is no flex. That is really nice. When I'm at the most reclined, it also feels very good. What I have an issue with, and I've had this problem, is when typing on the lap, this keyboard, if it flexes, you get mouse clicks. That is poor design. This keyboard flexes way more than it should. It flexes more than the iPad's keyboard does. That's unacceptable. It is not a laptop, for lack of a better word. It is really only suited to be used on a table surface. When on your lap, this flex, or this inability to stay rigid is just too much to handle. I couldn't imagine trying to use this on an airplane tray table. You know, Surface Pro 4 had problems with that. Surface Pro 6 has problems with that. The iPad even has problems with that. But it isn't. This is just, it takes up too much horizontal real estate. There is no rigidity to the hinge. It just isn't a laptop replacement when it comes to challenging situations of work surfaces. Now, the other problem I have with the keyboard, you notice this keeps popping down. I'll slide it up and it'll sort of pop down. The magnets at the top aren't strong enough to hold it into place. That's really, really poor design. Then, when you close the device, and I actually handed it to people to get their initial impressions, and as I handed it to them, the keyboard cover would slip, just like that. And it does it to both sides. It's just not rigid. That is a really poor feeling of quality. People I handed it to instantly thought it was a $300 Chrome OS device, that they weren't familiar with what the Pixel Slate was. In addition to that, if you fold the keyboard around to the back, it sort of magnetically attaches on the rear. You can kind of see it there. It's attached to the cover. That's fantastic. Except for the fact that when you go to unfold it, it stays attached and brings the stand down. Well then, if I want to fold it closed, I fold it closed. Now I have to then slide that back up to get it back. It just is a terribly designed cover. Honestly, this is unacceptable for a $200 device, or $200 keyboard cover attached to a $1,000 laptop replacement or tablet. So while it is a very beautiful device, and as a tablet alone, it's spectacular. Speakers are crisp sounding, the stereo imaging is great, the depth of the speakers are great, the screen is fantastic, the resolution is fine, the weight is good for the size of it, the feeling of quality in the tablet itself is fantastic. The Chrome OS lets it down. The keyboard cover is a rip-off. to say the least. And the use experience, I'll just give you an example here. I've had both these devices in my possession for the last week and a half or so. Every single time I wanted to pick up a tablet to go to a meeting, or go to take notes on, or to just watch YouTube on, every single time I had a choice between these two sitting side by side on my desk, I picked the iPad. The only time I can think of me picking the Pixel Slate up was when I said, you know what, I really need to test it, and it was work. And if you pick up a tablet and it's not a pleasant experience, it's work, something's wrong with that tablet. And that's pretty much my synopsis of the Pixel Slate. Fantastic designed hardware for the tablet, really poor accessories, a really challenging experience to use, way overpriced for the device that it is. And I can't recommend it. I absolutely cannot recommend anyone buy this. I think it's really well conceived, but I think it's really poorly executed. And that's my basic feedback for you. If you do consider the device, I would think that the lowest powered CPU version, the cheapest version, $599, would be the one I'd recommend. Except, I've recently seen that the performance of the Celeron CPU'd $599 version of this is slower than several of the $200 Android tablets out there. The MediaTek CPU in particular comes in $150 to $299 tablets, and it's faster in benchmarks than the Celeron they put in this. I can't, it just seems inconceivable to me that Google would make such a huge mistake, but they apparently have. So there's my review. I know it's a little bit biting, but fundamentally Google made a flawed device here. You know, I can't really recommend it, and I certainly hope you didn't buy one. Thanks. Bye-bye.